The heat in the air was as thick as the history in the walls. For Sarah, a freelance photographer from Chicago, the Myrtles Plantation was a project, a collection of elegant antebellum columns and sprawling live oaks dripping with Spanish moss. It was not, she insisted to herself, a haunted house. Her guide, an elderly local named Clarence with skin like worn leather and eyes that held the twilight, had merely smiled when she'd said that. The myrmidons, he'd corrected gently, pointing to the topiary shrubs. Named for Greek warriors. But the house, it has its own army of ghosts. Sarah spent the day capturing the perfect light filtering through the grand staircase, the eerie symmetry of the long veranda, the way the cypress floors seemed to swallow the sound. As dusk bled into a deep, velvety night, she found herself alone in the grand hall, reviewing her shots. The tour groups had left, and the only sound was the hum of the cicadas. It was then she saw her, a flicker in the periphery of a photograph on her camera's LCD screen. A woman in a green turban, her face a mask of sorrow, standing just at the edge of the frame near the piano. Sarah's heart hammered against her ribs. She hadn't seen anyone there. She looked up at the empty room, then back at the screen. The woman was gone from the new photo, but the memory of the image was seared into her mind. Chloe, she thought, remembering Clarence's stories. The enslaved woman who supposedly poisoned the family and was hanged for it. Shaken, she decided to call it a night. As she passed the grand staircase, a faint, sweet scent of jasmine filled the air. There was no jasmine in the house. The scent was followed by a whisper, so soft it could have been the house settling. "Watch the children." Sarah froze, her blood running cold. She spun around, her flashlight beam cutting a frantic path through the darkness. Nothing. Retreating to the small library, she tried to steady her nerves. She focused her camera on an ornate mirror known as the haunted mirror, said to hold the spirits of those who died in the house. She took a test shot. The flash illuminated the dark, polished surface. When the image resolved on the screen, her breath caught in her throat. Reflected in the glass, clear as day, were the smudged, pale faces of two young children, a boy and a girl, standing behind her where she sat. A wave of dizzying terror washed over her. She could feel it now, a pressure in the air, a sense of being watched that was so profound it felt physical. The house was no longer a silent, historical relic. It was awake. From the music room, a slow, discordant note sounded on the piano. Then another. It was the clumsy, plinking melody of a child's nursery rhyme. Sarah didn't scream. She couldn't. Her professional skepticism had shattered, replaced by a primal understanding. She wasn't just documenting a place, she was an intruder in a story that had no end. Gathering her equipment with trembling hands, she fled the main house, the sound of the phantom piano notes chasing her into the humid Louisiana night. She didn't look back. She knew what she would see in her photographs, the green turban, the children in the mirror, perhaps even a face in an upstairs window. But some evidence, she decided, was not meant to be developed. Some stories were better left told by the whispers in the walls and the chill in an empty room. The Myrtles had its army, and she had no desire to be their prisoner.